Mysterious green laser captured by the International Space Station. In a curious moment captured by the International Space Station, a green laser beam-like structure appeared to shoot upward from Earth's surface into space, sparking widespread discussion and speculation. This mysterious vertical streak, glowing faintly with a greenish hue, was visible in the background of the station's live feed, momentarily suspended in the dark void between Earth and the stars. Just seconds after this strange beam was recorded, the live camera feed from the International Space Station was abruptly cut off. That timing, to many observers, did not seem coincidental. The sudden interruption of the live feed has led to considerable debate among viewers and enthusiasts. For some, it was nothing more than a technical glitch, a standard disruption in an otherwise routine transmission from the space station. But for others, especially those who have followed unusual space phenomena, the shutdown raised deeper questions. Many speculate that the cameras were never intended to capture such an event, and that the feed was deliberately terminated once the anomaly was noticed. The laser itself, if it can be called that, appeared as a vertical streak originating from the Earth's surface and stretching into the upper atmosphere. What makes this occurrence even more unusual is the vivid green coloration, which is not commonly associated with natural light phenomena from Earth as seen from space. Its distinct straight-line appearance gave the impression of precision, an unnatural trait in the often chaotic and diffuse lights of Earth's weather patterns or auroras. This event has reignited discussions within the community of skywatchers and independent researchers, many of whom have long speculated about unidentified technological activities occurring both in Earth's orbit and on the ground. Some believe the beam could be the result of advanced scientific experiments, perhaps related to atmospheric research, space communication systems, or even energy transmission technologies not widely known to the public. Others entertain more speculative theories, suggesting that it could be connected to covert defense programs, satellite weaponry, or unexplained phenomena yet to be identified by conventional science. Those more inclined to view this occurrence through a technological lens point out that space agencies and militaries around the world have been experimenting with lasers and high-frequency energy beams for decades. From guiding satellites to transmitting data and powering space-based platforms, lasers play a growing role in space innovation. However, a beam of this intensity and color, originating visibly from Earth and being captured so clearly by the International Space Station, remains an anomaly. Adding to the mystery is the abrupt termination of the space station feed. Historically, the live stream from the space station has experienced occasional interruptions, but rarely under such oddly timed circumstances. The sequence, laser appears, feed cuts out, felt too deliberate for many who witnessed it. Theories began to circulate that perhaps the object or phenomenon was not meant to be seen by the public, and that someone monitoring the live feed took immediate action to prevent further observation. As of now, no official explanation has been offered regarding the mysterious green beam. The event remains one of those rare, unsolved moments captured in orbit, an unusual image that fuels both scientific curiosity and speculative wonder. Whether a product of advanced technology, a natural phenomenon misinterpreted, or something more mysterious, the green laser continues to intrigue all who witnessed its brief and glowing presence over Earth. Mysterious event captured above Icaria. In the quiet serenity of Icaria, a small island nestled in the Aegean Sea and known for its timeless traditions and tranquil pace of life, an extraordinary event recently unfolded that left the entire population astonished. An inexplicable glowing figure appeared in the sky, seemingly suspended above the island in an otherworldly glow. The figure, shaped like a human and radiating with light, hovered for several minutes before gradually fading, leaving behind stunned witnesses and a wave of unanswered questions. This phenomenon took place in the early evening, while the sun was still visible. It was then that islanders noticed a brilliant glow in the sky, illuminating the surroundings in a soft, ethereal light. The figure was described as distinctly humanoid, standing upright in mid-air with what many described as a peaceful and almost majestic presence. It remained visible for approximately 10 minutes, allowing numerous residents and visitors to step outside and witness the occurrence with their own eyes. Photographs and videos were quickly captured on phones and cameras, and although most were grainy due to the lighting conditions and distance, the luminous form was clearly visible. The image resembled a person surrounded by a radiant halo, arms slightly raised, and exuding a glow that was unlike anything the islanders had seen before. These visuals quickly circulated on social media, sparking widespread conversation and drawing attention far beyond the shores of Icaria. For the people of Icaria, deeply rooted in Orthodox Christian traditions, the event was immediately seen by many as something sacred. The island is home to ancient monasteries, historic chapels, and vibrant religious festivals, all of which reflect the strong spiritual fabric of the community. Given this background, many interpreted the glowing figure as a divine messenger, perhaps a saint, an angel, or a heavenly sign intended to uplift or guide the faithful. Local clergy responded quickly to the growing speculation, offering interpretations steeped in spiritual meaning. Some suggested that the figure could be St. George, the revered patron saint of the island, while others believed it might be a form of divine intervention or a call to reflection. A few even wondered whether it could be a manifestation of the Virgin Mary or a protective angel watching over the community. The fact that several witnesses claimed to have felt a deep sense of calm, comfort, or even spiritual healing during the event only strengthened the belief in its sacred nature. According to some islanders, the figure appeared to move slightly, almost as if gliding or blessing those below. These subtle movements, along with the stillness of the surrounding sky, contributed to the sense that this was no ordinary occurrence. Many believed that the apparition was a sign, perhaps a reminder of faith during uncertain times, or a message of unity and peace. The religious narrative resonated strongly, especially given the island's rich history and collective reverence for sacred experiences. Yet, as with all such extraordinary sightings, the event also drew the attention of skeptics and scientists who sought a more grounded explanation. Atmospheric experts proposed the possibility of a light pillar, a rare optical phenomenon caused by the reflection of light from ice crystals high in the atmosphere. While light pillars can occasionally create column-like or vertical shapes in the sky, some theorists argued that under specific conditions, they might produce shapes that appear humanoid from certain perspectives. Others suggested that the figure could have been an illusion created by satellite reflections or even distant drone activity. Still, these explanations did little to satisfy those who were there, who insisted that the experience was unlike anything they had ever witnessed and carried with it a feeling that could not be rationalized. The mystery deepened when reports surfaced from different parts of the island, all describing the figure in remarkably similar terms. People from coastal villages, hillside homes, and central neighborhoods described the same glowing shape, the same graceful movements, and the same overwhelming sense of awe. Some residents claimed their pets reacted strangely during the sighting, with dogs barking or becoming unusually quiet, adding another layer of intrigue. As word spread, people from across Greece began visiting Icaria, some hoping to feel the spiritual presence believed to have been left behind, others simply drawn by curiosity. The site where the apparition was first seen has already become a quiet place of reflection for many, with candles, small icons, and handwritten notes left by visitors seeking peace or answers. While the scientific community continues to examine possible causes, many islanders have already made up their minds. For them, the event was not an illusion or a trick of the light, but something far deeper and more meaningful. Whether viewed through the lens of faith or science, the glowing figure above Icaria has become part of the island's story, a modern mystery rooted in ancient wonder. In a world often dominated by skepticism and fast-paced living, Icaria's luminous visitor has rekindled a sense of reverence for the unexplained. The sky may no longer be glowing, but for those who saw the figure, something profound has been left behind. A moment of stillness, a glimmer of mystery, and a lasting reminder that the world still holds secrets waiting to be understood. Mysterious declassified NASA document. In a surprising turn of events, a recently declassified NASA document has reignited long-standing debates about the true nature of transient lunar phenomena. Brief, unexplained flashes, glows, and light anomalies observed on the surface of the moon for centuries. While many of these sightings have traditionally been attributed to meteorite impacts or outgassing events, the newly revealed contents of this document suggest that something far less conventional may be at play. The report cautiously introduces the possibility that some of these glowing events could, in fact, be the result of unidentified aerial or orbital phenomena, objects that bear a striking resemblance to the glowing orbs frequently reported in Earth's skies. The document references decades of visual and photographic records collected not just from Earth-based observatories, but also from lunar orbiters and astronauts during manned missions to the Moon. It details several instances in which spherical, luminous objects were captured in lunar orbit, sometimes moving in unpredictable patterns and hovering for extended periods before vanishing from sight. These orbs often emitted a soft glow, and their shape and behavior mirrored countless UFO sightings reported around the world on Earth. What makes this revelation particularly fascinating is the suggestion that these glowing lights are not merely static phenomena like reflected sunlight or camera flares. According to the report, the orbs sometimes exhibit characteristics that suggest intelligent control, such as synchronized movement, purposeful flight paths, or an apparent awareness of the surrounding terrain. These behaviors are difficult to explain through natural lunar activity alone. Moreover, many astronauts have historically spoken of unusual visual events during their time on or near the Moon, including lights darting across the surface, strange flashes, and subtle glows that seemed to shimmer just beyond the lunar horizon. While these accounts were often downplayed or attributed to optical illusions or equipment errors, the declassified document treats these observations with more seriousness, noting the consistency and recurrence of such reports over time. Adding to the intrigue is NASA's acknowledgement that transient lunar phenomena are not confined to a single region of the Moon. They have been witnessed in multiple locations, often near known geological faults or craters, but without any consistent geological explanation to tie them together. This spatial randomness makes it even more difficult to link these events to known natural processes, such as outgassing or micrometeorite impacts. The document does not claim definitive proof of extraterrestrial technology or intelligence, but it does leave the door open to possibilities that extend beyond current scientific understanding. Its cautious language underscores the need for more research into these persistent and puzzling lights. By drawing parallels to UFO sightings on Earth, NASA subtly invites the scientific community to consider the idea that the Moon may not be as dormant or lifeless as once thought. As the search for answers continues, this revelation has added new weight to an old mystery. Whether these glowing lunar orbs are natural phenomena with unusual characteristics or evidence of something far more complex, their presence challenges the conventional narrative about our closest celestial neighbor. The Moon, long thought to be a silent and still world, may still be keeping secrets that humanity has only just begun to uncover. Thousands want to storm the Vatican. In addition to handwritten papal memos and presidential letters, the 80 kilometers of archives and shelves found at the Vatican are thought to hold a wealth of pertinent material regarding the UFO phenomenon, and it's because of this that thousands have said that they want to storm the Vatican in order to find out the truth. In 2023, the long-running endeavor acquired momentum after former United States intelligence agent David Grush testified before Congress. According to Grush, Benito Mussolini's dictatorship obtained information of a crashed UFO through back-channeling from Pope Pius to the United States. Nonetheless, UFO researchers may find more in the archives than first appears, based on findings similar to those detailed in Diana Walsh Pasulka's 2019 book, American Cosmic. According to Pasulka, a religious studies professor at the University of North Carolina in Wilmington, there are several accounts of paranormal occurrences in the archives, including nuns who saw orbs entering their cells and other flying phenomena. She contends that rather than being miracles in the conventional Catholic sense, these incidents are more accurately explained as UFO-type happenings. She clarified that in their mad race to digitize what they have, Vatican archivists must prioritize what they consider most important. Religious experts are not the only people who are interested in the Vatican's properties. The Vatican archives are viewed as a possible goldmine for scientists trying to understand UFOs, such as Stanford University medical professor Gary Nolan. According to Nolan, the Vatican is most likely the oldest library system of paranormal or supernatural knowledge still in existence, adding that if you just know how to read it, you can extract this information. In 2023, Nolan co-founded the Sol Foundation with the goal of spearheading scientific investigation into unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UFOs, and initiating discussions regarding the spiritual ramifications of finding extraterrestrial life with religious establishments such as the Vatican. The Foundation is positive that a minimum of some UFOs are authentic alien vehicles. As a result, fostering interfaith discussion to evaluate the possible effects on world faiths has been one of its primary goals. The Foundation's director, Peter Scaffish, said that the Vatican is an organization that facilitates interfaith dialogue and engages religious pluralism, and so it has always been in their mind that they want to engage. There has been a long-standing curiosity among non-Catholic scholars about the Vatican's hidden mysteries, which stems from a retreat center in California that holds cultural significance. The Cornish Owlman. In 1976 and 1978, Maunan, a Cornish seaside town, experienced an unexplained haunting. After reporting a winged creature in the neighborhood churchyard, 2 adolescent girls stormed the local police station. The weird object that the girls had seen floating in the trees nearby had abruptly soared upward and disappeared, sending the 2 adolescents running screaming. The girls would also draw what they had seen, and although their drawings were rudimentary, they showed something considerably more evil than a simple bird, a creature that resembled a massive humanoid owl with blazing eyes, a broad mouth, and claws that resembled pincers. Its feathers were described as being either white or greyish. As soon as word of the meeting circulated, the creature was called Owlman, based on its looks and due to the creature sharing characteristics with the Mothman of West Virginia. 2 other females who were camped close to the chapel saw the Owlman again. The creature appeared to have hissed horrifyingly this time before disappearing back up into the trees. The following morning, the Owlman was spotted once more. The monster was now hiding among the woods near a cliff, and as additional girls discovered it, it disappeared upward once more. One of the Owlman's last observations was in June 1978, when a lone girl witnessed what appeared to be the devil disappear up into the trees near the church. Not 1, not 2, but 3 girls, who were also French, saw the beast again in August. Once again, it was observing them from a tall tree branch before disappearing above, and after that, there were no more reports of the Owlman. One noteworthy detail in several purported witness accounts of the Owlman is that it had legs that bent backward, resembling actual birds' legs. It would be difficult, if not impossible, to fake this with a basic outfit. It would also be challenging, though not impossible, to pull off the so-called luminous eyes, and if there was no costume involved, it might have been an animatronic replica. Though the peak of Owlman sightings occurred in the late 1970s, reports have continued sporadically over the years. A little-known sighting happened in 1989. A young man named Gavin reported seeing a man-bird with a ghastly face near the church, rekindling interest in the legend. More recently, in 1995, a tourist named Jane Greenwood claimed to have seen a similar creature. These contemporary sightings, while less frequent, keep the legend alive and ensure that the Owlman remains a topic of interest and speculation. The story of the Owlman of Cornwall serves as a reminder of the power of folklore and the human penchant for seeking out mysteries in the shadows of our understanding. The Owlman of Cornwall, with its haunting appearance and mysterious origins, continues to captivate the imagination of both locals and cryptid enthusiasts worldwide. The mysterious case of Ricky McCormick. Ricky McCormick, aged 41, was found in a cornfield 20 miles outside of St. Louis, Missouri, on June 30, 1999. Except for the 2 pages of notes in his pockets, McCormick's passing may have gone unreported due to his living conditions and health issues. McCormick's notes, written in complex, impenetrable code, have long baffled professional and amateur code breakers. Many people are certain that the notes discovered on McCormick's body contain the clue to his unexplained passing, despite his family's insistence that he could hardly spell, much less figure out a secret code. However, there is more to Ricky McCormick's case than first meets the eye. Those who knew Ricky McCormick claimed that he may have been dealing substances and that he had connections to a number of sketchy characters. Ricky McCormick appeared to have had health issues from an early age. According to news outlets, he acted abnormally, recounted unusual stories, and stood alone during playtime. According to Gloria McCormick, Ricky's favorite aunt, a psychiatrist said he had a brick wall in his mind. According to him, Ricky declined to breach the wall, and he had a vivid imagination and disliked living in poverty. When McCormick left high school, he was hardly able to write or read. News outlets reported that McCormick's family said he was unable to spell and would instead scribble. According to his cousin, McCormick acted like he was in another world, and although many who have studied this case have suggested that he was misunderstood and used his own writing style to express himself, something that the FBI would end up agreeing with. McCormick, who didn't have a high school diploma, took up a variety of low-paying jobs, generally at night. His meager earnings and the benefits he received for his ongoing heart problems allowed him to survive. However, McCormick would find himself in trouble with the law in 1992. Following his guilty plea, Ricky McCormick was imprisoned for 13 months in the Farmington Correctional Center, but his problems would only get worse after he came out. Ricky McCormick obtained a graveyard shift job at an Amoco petrol station in downtown St. Louis after being released from prison. He encountered a number of dubious characters there who might have contributed to his unexplained passing. Juma and Baha Bob Hamdallah, two brothers, were in charge of the Amoco. Both were known for their harsh treatment of people, and McCormick made a few odd visits to Florida while working for them. Later, his girlfriend reported to the police that he appeared afraid and that she thought he was smuggling a substance for the Hamdallah brothers. McCormick began acting strangely in mid-June 1999, not long after his last trip to Florida. According to investigators, McCormick went to two different emergency departments between June 22nd and June 25th to complain of chest pain. He was last spotted at the Amoco petrol station on June 27th. After that, Ricky McCormick vanished. At first, nobody took attention, and he was not reported missing by anyone. It wasn't until June 30th, 20 miles from McCormick's residence and workplace, that he was found in a field. Even though McCormick's cause of passing was not determined by a medical examiner, investigators believed that foul play had played a role in his demise. According to investigators, Captain David Tiefenbrunn, the St. Charles County Police Department's Bureau Commander of Criminal Investigations, described the situation as puzzling. If there were no leads, Ricky McCormick's passing might have gotten lost in the shadows. However, something odd was later discovered by the police in his pockets. Upon investigating Ricky McCormick's case, the police discovered 2 pages of handwritten notes that were encoded in some sort of language. The FBI's Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit received the notes, but even its skilled codebreakers were unable to decipher the cipher. Dan Olson, the chief of Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit, said that they don't often have an unsolved cipher of this length and significance. The personas are not arbitrary. For example, there are numerous E's that can be utilized as spaces. There are numerous traits and patterns that point to the possibility of a solution. They don't know why it can't be solved, which is the difficulty. According to the FBI website, there are 4 processes involved in breaking a code: identifying the language, the system, the key, which is moving each letter to the right in the alphabet, and reconstructing the text. However, the FBI could only proceed to step 2 using McCormick's notes. Therefore, the FBI requested assistance from amateur codebreakers in March 2011 after making the public aware of McCormick's notes. Advice started to pour in, and various news outlets said that codebreakers claimed to have found references to hospitals, the name Seth, and prescription reminders in McCormick's notes. However, the McCormick family wasn't persuaded. They expressed skepticism regarding McCormick's ability to write in code, having learned about the codes alongside the general population. According to a family relative, McCormick didn't write in code. However, other family members recalled that McCormick had written in codes when he was younger. Ricky McCormick's code hasn't been cracked as of yet. It's uncertain if the code was written by him or by someone else. An amateur astronomer named John Evans decided to head out into his garden to take part in his favorite hobby, stargazing through his telescope. However, the man's routine observation turned into an extraordinary event when he noticed a large, unidentified object hovering close to the moon. On a clear night, he set up his telescope in his backyard, eager to take advantage of the perfect stargazing conditions. The moon hung prominently in the sky, its surface features clearly visible through his high-powered telescope. John, an amateur astronomer, had spent countless nights observing the lunar landscape, but this evening would prove to be unlike any other. As he adjusted the focus of his telescope, he noticed something peculiar. Near the edge of the moon, a large cylindrical object appeared to be hovering. At first, he thought it might be a trick of the light or a flaw in his telescope. However, as he continued to observe, it became clear that this was no ordinary anomaly. The object maintained a steady position relative to the moon, casting a shadow on its surface, indicating its presence in the lunar vicinity. Realizing the significance of what he was witnessing, he quickly decided to document the sighting. He carefully retrieved his smartphone, aligning it with the eyepiece of his telescope to take a photograph. This method, though rudimentary, was his best option for capturing a clear image of the object. He steadied his hands and snapped several photos, ensuring that the cylindrical shape was clearly visible in at least one of them. After taking the photos, he reviewed them on his phone. The object was unmistakably cylindrical, with distinct edges and a metallic sheen. It appeared to be quite large, though estimating its exact size was challenging without knowing its precise distance from the moon. The cylindrical object exhibited several intriguing characteristics. Its shape was highly unusual for natural celestial bodies, which are typically irregular and cratered. The object's smooth metallic surface suggested it was not a fragment of the moon or an asteroid. Moreover, its steady position indicated that it was not merely passing by, but was either stationary or moving very slowly in relation to the moon. There are several potential explanations for the object he observed. One possibility is that it was a man-made satellite or space debris. However, the size and shape of the object, as well as its proximity to the moon, made this unlikely. Another theory is that it could be an unidentified object. Interestingly, John's encounter with the cylindrical object near the moon is not an isolated incident. Over the years, there have been numerous reports and sightings of unidentified flying objects in close proximity to the moon. These sightings have sparked considerable interest and debate among astronomers, researchers, and enthusiasts alike. The moon has been a focal point of human observation for millennia. Ancient civilizations often recorded unusual phenomena observed in the night sky, including strange lights and objects near the moon. However, systematic documentation of such sightings began in earnest with the advent of telescopic astronomy in the 17th century. With the onset of the space age in the mid-20th century, interest in UFO sightings near the moon surged. During the Apollo missions, astronauts reported seeing mysterious objects in the vicinity of the moon. For instance, during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin reportedly observed a series of strange lights and an unexplained object that seemed to be tracking their spacecraft. While these sightings were not officially acknowledged as extraterrestrial, they fueled public fascination and speculation. In recent decades, advancements in technology have led to an increase in UFO sightings near the moon. High-resolution telescopes, space probes, and satellites have provided clearer and more detailed images of the lunar surface and its surroundings. Amateurs and professionals alike have reported seeing a variety of anomalies, from geometric structures and moving lights to shadowy figures and unidentified craft. These sightings are often documented through photographs and videos, adding to the body of evidence and intrigue. One plausible explanation put forward by NASA and others researchers is that many UFO sightings near the moon are natural phenomena. The lunar surface is a dynamic environment subject to various geological and atmospheric processes that can produce unusual visual effects. For example, transient lunar phenomena are brief, localized changes in brightness or color on the moon's surface, which can be mistaken for UFOs. However, some researchers and enthusiasts believe that the UFOs observed near the moon are evidence of alien spacecraft or advanced activities. Proponents of this theory argue that the moon, with its proximity to Earth and lack of atmosphere, would be an ideal base of operations for advanced civilizations. They point to the unusual behavior, shapes, and movements of the observed objects as indicators of non-human technology. The persistent reports of UFOs near the moon highlight the need for continued scientific exploration and investigation. Understanding these phenomena could provide valuable insights into the nature of the moon, the solar system, and potentially the existence of advanced life. Future lunar missions, both manned and unmanned, could be designed to specifically investigate these anomalies, employing advanced sensors and instruments to capture more detailed data. UFO sightings near the Moon have a significant impact on public interest and engagement with space exploration. These sightings capture the imagination and curiosity of people around the world, fostering a sense of wonder and excitement about the cosmos. This heightened interest can translate into increased support for space programs and scientific research, driving advancements in technology and knowledge. The cylindrical object near the Moon remains an unsolved mystery, emphasizing the need for continued investigation and open-mindedness in the scientific community. Advanced telescopes and space missions could potentially provide more information about such anomalies, helping to unravel the mysteries they present. In the vast realm of UFOs, various shapes and forms have been reported over the decades, each adding to the intrigue and mystery surrounding these phenomena. Among these, cylinder-shaped UFOs stand out due to their distinctive appearance and the frequency with which they are sighted. The first reports of cylinder-shaped UFOs date back to early paintings, suggesting that encounters with these mysterious objects have been occurring for much longer than previously thought. Interpreting these ancient artworks involves considering the historical context and the artist's intent. During the periods these paintings were created, the understanding of the cosmos was limited, and unexplained phenomena were often interpreted through a religious or supernatural lens. Artists might have depicted these cylinder-shaped objects as divine or otherworldly manifestations, reflecting the cultural and religious beliefs of their time. The appearance of cylinder-shaped UFOs in ancient paintings from different cultures and periods suggests a consistency that is difficult to dismiss. These depictions are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader pattern that spans centuries and continents. This consistency lends credence to the idea that artists across different eras and regions may have been witnessing similar phenomena, documenting them through their art. One of the earliest recorded sightings occurred in 1948, when an experienced pilot reported encountering a large cylindrical object while flying over the skies of New Mexico. The object was described as metallic, with no visible wings or means of propulsion, and it moved silently at a high speed. Over the years, numerous notable incidents have been documented, adding to the credibility of cylinder-shaped UFO sightings. In 1967, during the famous encounter in Canada, multiple witnesses reported seeing a cylindrical object crash into the waters off the coast. Despite an extensive search, no debris or conventional explanation was ever found, leaving the incident shrouded in mystery. Cylinder-shaped UFOs are typically described as elongated, cylindrical objects, often resembling a large cigar or a tube. They are usually metallic in appearance, with a smooth, reflective surface that lacks visible seams, windows, or doors. These objects are reported to vary significantly in size, ranging from a few meters to several hundred meters in length. One of the most remarkable features of cylinder-shaped UFOs is their flight behavior. Witnesses often describe these objects as moving at incredible speeds, performing rapid accelerations and making abrupt changes in direction that defy the capabilities of conventional aircraft. Additionally, these UFOs are frequently reported to hover silently in place for extended periods before suddenly disappearing or shooting off at high velocity. There have been several reports of cylinder-shaped UFOs interacting with their environment in unusual ways. For example, some witnesses have observed these objects emitting beams of light or electromagnetic fields that affect electronic devices and power grids. In other cases, cylindrical UFOs have been seen entering or exiting bodies of water, suggesting an ability to operate both in the atmosphere and underwater. As with many of these sightings, the most widely discussed and compelling theory is that cylinder-shaped UFOs are of advanced origin. Proponents of this hypothesis argue that the advanced technology and flight capabilities exhibited by these objects suggest they are not of human manufacture. The precise, seamless construction and lack of visible propulsion systems imply a level of technological advancement far beyond current human capabilities. Some scientists propose that certain sightings of cylinder-shaped UFOs could be attributed to rare natural phenomena. Atmospheric and optical effects, such as lenticular clouds or mirages, can sometimes produce shapes and movements that might be mistaken for UFOs.